8 proven strategies to improve your trade marketing ROI. This is the live recording of the webinar that I put out, part of the free weekly webinar series. You'll want to go to the event page of my website so that you can see what's coming next. Anyhow, trade marketing represents everything required to get your product into shoppers' hands. It's typically the single largest item on a company's income sheet, and it represents about 25% of your gross sales. And yet over 70% of those dollars are wasted, more than natural. Would you like to know proven strategies to reduce wasted promotional spending and gain a competitive advantage, even with the big brands? That's the focus of this free webinar. You're going to want to stay tuned. Do me a favor, share this with any brand wanting to grow sustainable sales. We're all in this together. And these are the strategies that can help you differentiate your brand, that it can help you gain a significant and sustainable competitive advantage. Leverage these strategies in this webinar. And don't forget to check out my free promotion analysis tool. You'll find it on my website, and you'll learn more about that in this free webinar. Thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you inside. At Brand Secrets and Strategies, you learn how to save valuable time and money, where you learn strategies to get your products on more store shelves and into the hands of more shoppers, empowering brands and raising the bar. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here. I know that there's a lot going on in the world, especially right now. And so I really appreciate you making time for me to help share these insights with you. And after all, this is why I do this, to help raise the bar in the industry. So 8 proven strategies to maximize trade marketing ROI. And I want to give a quick shout out to all of the organizations that are partnering with me to help bring these to me. And when I say partnering with me, they're helping to share them with their audiences. And so I want to thank ECRM, Range Meat, Plant-Based Solutions, Phil Limpert, the Supermarket Guru, Social Nature, Whole Foods Market, Big Orange Productions, Force Brand, C-Suite Radio, C-Suite Network, C-Suite Advisors, Bricktown Group, Promo Mash, Food Business Success, and the logo isn't on there, but also I want to thank Produce Moms. I'm waiting for that. So thank you. I'm going to switch the screen there. So anyhow, again, please reach out to all these people and thank them for helping to support me in this endeavor to bring these insights to you. So anyhow, we're going to be able to answer a lot of questions, so please save those to the end. But please send me a lot of questions because this is important stuff and I can really help you make a tremendous impact in your business. So let's get started. So at the end, actually a little bit in the middle, there are 2 surprises. I have a couple really big surprises for you, so you're certainly going to want to stay tuned. And these things are going to change your life for the better. It's going to make your life a lot easier, especially when it comes to trade marketing. So if you don't know me, if you haven't attended one of these webinars yet, my name's Dan Lohman. I've had the privilege of working with a lot of different brands, hundreds of brands, from pre-revenue to multi-billion dollars in sales. And throughout this process, I've learned a lot about what retailers really want, what brands really want. And so that's why I've started doing this. In fact, on that note, actually, I'm also the first person certified at the highest level category management proficiency. I'm a category management expert. And the reason that matters is because I understand what we're talking about. I am a subject matter expert, and I can help level the playing field between you and your most sophisticated competitors. So my mission is to make our healthy way of life more accessible by helping you get your products onto more store shelves and into the hands of more shoppers, including online. So please help me raise the bar in the industry. Please share these resources, this free webinar series, with any brand that you know that wants to grow sustainable sales. So in addition to that, let me know what keeps you up at night. What are the things that you're struggling with? Let me know, and I'll either try to include that in a podcast episode or I'll bake that into one of these webinars. So if you can let me know what your problems are, what your frustrations are, what your challenges are, I will do my level best to make sure I can help you. And of course, you can always reach out to me. And then also, please subscribe to the podcast and YouTube channel so you'll be the first to get new brand building insights as soon as they become available. My website is dedicated to be a resource to help you. So use it. There's a lot of great content on there. I mentioned my podcast. I just launched episode 192, and I've had a lot of the top thought leaders in the industry who candidly share their expertise and validate a lot of the strategies that we're talking about here right now. And my YouTube channel. You're going to see some of the video versions of those interviews on my YouTube channel. So you definitely want to check that as well. And I've got a bunch of courses. And the best part is a lot of them are free. Now, the reason I wanted to stop here and highlight this is because these are collaborations with industry experts. And they can help you answer some of those key questions that you're thinking about. For example, retail execution. What is it? Why does it matter? And how do you leverage that to gain a competitive advantage? Also, this weekly webinar series. I launched this because when Expo West was canceled, a lot of us were struggling and we're trying to figure out what do we do next. Well, I wanted to lean in, and this is the best way I could figure to do it, is by helping you, by providing insights or strategies to you that you're not going to learn anywhere else or on any other platform. So next week, you'll definitely want to tune into that. Brad Barnhorn is perhaps the most sought-after advisor in the industry, and he's got a lot of great insights to share about leveraging and unlocking the full potential of your leadership and your brand. The next week, we're going to have Eric Skay. Eric is sort of a guru, a master of all different things. He's kind of a magician when it comes to fixing businesses and helping them grow and scale. The week after that, we're going to go through a survey that was recently completed by Social Nature, how natural CPG leaders are adapting to the new retail environment. And this is something you really want to pay attention to because as you've heard me say, hopefully, I'm always talking about being able to bake those insights into your selling story. So there's going to be a lot of great content there. And then today was supposed to be how to get your brand on store shelves and in the hands of shoppers, but I pushed it back because the Canadian Organic Trade Association asked me to. This is the deck that I produced for them. I was supposed to be the speaker at the Canadian Organic Trade Show breakfast at Expo West. So why are we here? 80% of brands fail the first year, and I'm committed to change that. And that's what we're going to be talking about. What are the strategies that you can leverage to give yourself a significant competitive advantage? You want to remember that retail is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And we want to plan for long-term sustainable growth. So the reason I put this together is when Expo West was canceled, a lot of brands were wondering, what am I going to do? And a lot of people were talking about, I'm going to have to lay people off, I'm going to have to reduce my head count, etc. That is a huge mistake. And here's why. You spend a lot of time identifying or hiring those people, looking for those people. Then you train them. You've got a lot of money, time, and energy invested in them. And so when you fire them, well, that means there are certain things that your organization can't do. And now all of a sudden, you've got more responsibilities on your desk. So there are better ways to help you grow and scale your business, to look for ways to save money. Trade marketing is the best place for you to look for opportunities to grow and scale. And that's what the focus of a lot of these webinars are about. So why does this really matter? Even big brands struggle with this. So when I worked for Unilever and Kimberly-Clark, you may have heard the stories where that's about the time when we started seeing a lot of deductions. Companies were actually brought on board to start deducting for literally everything out there. And I shared a story in one of the webinars where at one point my boss at Unilever said, you know what, we're paying you to sell. We're not paying you to manage deductions. And I said, but wait a minute. They're deducting stuff that doesn't make sense, stuff that isn't in the contract. And he said, yeah, I know, but you know what? We need you to focus on your daily job. The idea, I think, by some of these organizations is that they simply want to throw whatever they can against the wall and see what sticks, hoping that big brands overlook it, which is what I was told to do. Well, that frustrated me, and as a result, I started really digging into trade marketing and trying to understand the nuances about it and how to leverage that to gain a competitive advantage within retail. Now, you've also probably heard me talk about my secret sauce was that I was able to develop a relationship with retailers where I could be more than just another brand on their shelf. I became a value-added resource, and that's where we want to get you. So anyhow, then I went to work for Kimberly-Clark. This is where I was able to take that to the next level and beyond. And in addition to that, I was able to get some huge wins for big retailers as well with big retailers and then for the retailers. And the idea behind this is this. If you can help a retailer grow sales in their category and compete more effectively, then they're going to look to you as a resource, as a category management expert, as a value trusted resource. And that's why this matters. So we want to put you in that position where you're able to deliver that kind of high value to your retail partners. And it begins with you understanding this stuff. And one of the reasons it's important is because a lot of promotions are simply a waste of money. And if you can help them identify what are the best opportunities to promote their products, etc., that's going to help you stand out. So, as I mentioned, incremental opportunities. There were a lot of times when retailers would just call me up and say, hey, Dan, I've got an opportunity. Would you like this display? Or would you like this end cap? Or sometimes they would give me a lobby display. Depends on, what product I'm dealing with, etc. But I usually didn't have to pay for that. And what's best is that they would actually give me access to their data, to their insights. And so this fostered a lot of strong relationships, and I became the go-to resource. In fact, they've invited me to help them with categories that we had nothing to do with. The point is, the more I was able to help them, the more they were able or willing or excited about helping leveraging the brands that I was working with. And this has worked with some of the smaller clients that I've worked with as well. So I committed to become an expert in this because I saw a lot of opportunities. And as a result, I created a lot of amazing tools. Some tools, I'm told, that are still in use today. There's the Lohman report, for example, which is a report that gets down to the contribution of a promotion. In other words, how many dollars am I driving to the category, to the brand, to the retailer on a promotion? We'll talk more about that kind of stuff later. So while I'm mentoring a lot of natural brands, I saw them struggle, and this is disheartening because here you are putting everything you've got into your brand, your blood, your sweat, your tears, your love, everything you've got, and yet trying to watch you compete effectively when the deck is so stacked against you. And so these are skills that are not taught anywhere else. They're largely overlooked, and part of the reason for that is that this is a very complicated topic, and there are few real experts. And when I say real experts, well, it's one thing to say, look, we're going to manage your trade marketing. It's quite another thing to be able to say, I understand your business and I understand how to maximize your trade spend. And we're going to talk about more of the nuances and why this is important as we go through this. I believe that CEOs should not be perpetual fundraisers. And this was the tipping point for me. This is when I decided, you know what, I'm going to pivot and I'm going to focus on how do I help you reduce cost, improve your promotional spending, your promotional efficiencies, because that's the best way that I'm going to help you compete more effectively. So there is a better way, and you're not alone. And I want to show you some of the things I've been able to create for you on your behalf, and some of the ways I'm going to be able to help you. So the point here is this. I've been in your shoes. I've worked closely with the brands, a lot of small brands, and I've watched them struggle. And I know that there are a lot of frustrations that they have. And yet this is one area that's largely overlooked. And this is one area where I've had the most success with. So what would your new life look like, your new reality? Imagine having more money to devote toward innovation, more money to promote your brand, more money to get behind some of the causes that are important to you, some of the things that really matter to you and your customers. Your secret weapon is your loyal shopper. And you've heard me probably talk a lot about how these strategies will convert an occasional customer into a loyal customer. And the reason I say that is because just someone raised their hand. Hi. You know what? I'm going to get to you in just a minute. I maybe just said hi. Hi, Michael. How you doing? Thanks for being here. So anyhow, we want to get to the point where we help you become a valued asset to your customer. I'm sorry, we want you to become we want to teach your customer, sorry, I kind of threw me off a little bit. We want to be able to convert your occasional shopper into a loyal customer. And this is when you start changing the game. This is when you start leveling the playing field and gaining significant competitive advantage. So I put together this short video to kind of explain and frame why this matters. 25% of your brand's gross sales are tied to your trade marketing, and yet over 70% of your promotional spending is wasted or ineffective. Trade marketing includes everything required to get your product on store shelves and into the hands of shoppers, including online. Retailers demand promotions and shoppers expect them. Maximizing your trade marketing ROI means more runway for sales growth, fuel for more innovation, and more. Managing promotions is challenging. Even big brands struggle with this, but you don't have their deep pockets. Your survival depends on you getting this right. You're tired of feeling like an ATM machine and wish you could scale faster. You know in your heart that the tired strategies everyone else uses won't help you stand out on a crowded shelf. The light bulb goes on. Learn from CEOs, industry thought leaders, and founders who candidly share their insider secrets and advice with you. Now you have an abundance of tools to manage your trade marketing. Retailers now look to you as the category leader because of your proven ability to drive sales with your brand. Now you have the skills to confidently grow and scale your brand. The future looks bright. Visit Brand Secrets and Strategies today. So that kind of frames why we're here, kind of helps you illustrate why this is so important. And as I mentioned, every slight improvement is going to be more money in your pocket, more money in your brand's pocket to grow and scale your brand, to pay for the things that are important to you. Maybe hiring someone else, new equipment, you name it. The point is, this is the opportunity for you to really differentiate your brand at shelf, one. And then two, this is the opportunity for you to figure out a way to save money and scale and grow your business more confidently. So take a look at this table. Where are you on this table? And imagine, what could you do with the extra money? And more importantly, these savings will compound over a year. In other words, as you get better at this, then those insights, those skills are going to transfer to year after year after year, and you're going to continue to get better and better and better. And the reason this matters is because, remember, we want to maximize each and every opportunity that we have in front of a customer, and we want to make sure that we're investing in the right strategies to build our brand. And this is where a talented category management expert can help you explode sales and amplify your results. So the reason I put that in there is because don't just hire someone that says that they have some understanding of trade marketing. At the very least, you need to be able to oversee this and understand what's possible, and then help guide them to drive sales for your brand. So why does this matter? I'm so excited about this tool. This is one of the surprises that I wanted to share with you. Before you know where you're going, you've got to go back and take a look at where you've already been. In other words, if you want to set effective goals, well, what do those goals look like? What kind of target are you trying to reach? Let me show you why this matters. Go to my website and click on the free promotion analysis tool button. On this page, you're going to get a wealth of resources that are going to help you identify exactly not only where you've been, but it'll help guide you to where you want to be. So as you scroll down, the first thing that you find on this page is this tool, the Promotion Efficiency Calculator. I designed this because I wanted you to think about how much money are you really spending on trade spending. Like I said, it's a little bit of a black hole, and a lot of companies struggle to answer this. So generically speaking, if my annual gross sales are $800,000 a year, and I spend 25% of that in terms of trade spending, then I'm spending about $200,000 a year to get my product in the hands of a shopper. Now, if I can save you 10% on that with the strategies that we're talking about now, then I can save you $20,000 annually. So the question at the end of the day is, what would you do with that money? So let's change some of these numbers and show you how dramatic this can be and why this matters. So let's say, just to make it easy, let's say I am a $1.2 million brand. Okay? At 25%, I'm spending $300,000 a year on my trade spending. Now, let's say that I'm able to go from 5 promotions down to 3 promotions. I realize there's a lot more in that, but just stick with me. So let's say that I have an opportunity to reduce a couple promotions to eliminate them. And let's say that I'm going to save about $5,000 per promotion. Well, if I can save $15,000, there you go. Then I am reducing my trade spending by 5%. Now, that's one retailer perhaps. What if I did that in 6 retailers or 7 retailers? Imagine how much money you could save. So using that same example, let's say that I'm able to save $30,000. Well, that's 10% like we saw a minute ago. What if I'm able to save 20%? That's $60,000 you could put back into your brand to help grow and scale. I just eliminated 12 different promotions, or a different way to think about it is I eliminated one ineffective promotion at 12 different retailers. And remember, this is how you make your brand more attractive to potential investors. Now, let's say that after you start getting really efficient at this, you're able to reduce your overall trade spending. Let's take it down to 20%. Okay, but wait a minute. Remember, we said that we saved $60,000 on promotions. So we'll go back to the $60,000. You just reduced your overall trade spending from 25% to 20%, from $300,000 to $240,000. And in the process, you were able to increase your efficiency from 20% to 25% for the $60,000. Now, as a percentage of your total sales, we're still saving a ton of money, $60,000 in this example. But the reality is, if you're saving 20% on your overall trade spending, you're most likely saving a lot more in terms of your efficiency, maybe 30%. And that's because you're more efficient, because you're using your knowledge to be able to choose which promotions are more effective. You're choosing the promotions that are going to do more to elevate your brand. My point is this. Play around with this and see how these numbers impact your sales. Use your best guess to define how much you think you're spending in trade spending, and then use this as a benchmark, as a goal. Set reasonable goals. Again, how much did you spend on a particular trade promotion? Back that out. Well, what percentage is that? Okay, now if you back out two of them, what if, for example, on a trade promotion you spend $5,000, but now with your new skills, you're able to get more out of that? You're still spending the same amount of money, but now you're able to grow even more sales. Anyhow, play with this. It's free. It's my free gift to you. This is how I give back. Leverage this tool to help you set appropriate goals to maximize each and every dollar of your trade spending. So what do you think, huh? Isn't that cool? Leave your comments below. I'd love to see them. The point is this. This is where we begin the conversation. If I can help you find creative ways to save money by cutting your trade spending and improve your efficiencies, this is how you compete against the big brands. This is how you level the playing field against your most sophisticated competitors. So let's talk about the 8 proven strategies to maximize your trade marketing ROI. 1, consistent brand messaging. You've probably heard me talk about this a lot. The shopper journeys change. We all know that, especially during this pandemic. So what does that look like? Remember that everyone is trying to get the shopper's attention, and they have literally unlimited opportunities. Everyone's trying to fight for their attention, as I mentioned, and retailers need and want to remain relevant. So what do I mean by relevant? Relevant meaning they want to be relevant in their market. They want to have a reason, have those shoppers keep coming back into the store and buying products from them, and not invite them to go visit their competition. So what is real shopper loyalty? Shopper loyalty is really just simply giving your customers what they want. It's that simple. By exceeding their expectations. And if you can teach the retailer how to do that by leveraging your brand, that's how you compete more effectively. So it's all about relevance, like I said. So help your retail partners remain relevant. These are the strategies that you want to be able to bring them. You want to be able to provide these additional insights to help the retailer. In other words, help the retailer know what's going on in other markets. This is what retailers really want. In fact, when you break it down, there are 3 things that retailers want. They want more sales in the store, more foot traffic, so if you can help them with that. They want a competitive advantage in their market, and they want a reasonable profit in the category. And if you can help them achieve that, then savvy retailers will help you realize your goals, incremental displays. Like I said earlier, this is something that every brand should leverage. And by the way, as you're doing these skills, then you're going to be able to get opportunities, like I said, that your competitors don't have. So leverage this. And this is how you level the playing field. And this is how you amplify or explode your sales without having to spend a ton of money like your competitors. Now, this all begins with the customer, and it begins with consistent brand messaging. You've got to make sure that everyone across your entire sales team talks about your brand with the same passion and enthusiasm as the founder. So this is why I created my free turnkey sales story strategies course. The idea behind it is, if I tell you a story and you tell someone else and they tell someone else and so on, by the time it comes back around to me, it's unrecognizable. This is the Achilles heel, literally, of every single brand. And this is one of the things I use to kind of, bludgeon P&G outperform a lot of the other brands. The point is this. This is something every brand can do. And this doesn't cost anything. This is just getting everyone on board on your team. But this is the primary foundation that you need to build your brand on. So how well do you know your core shopper? Well, when I started in this industry, everyone was, it was very generic. So female, had a household, 2.3 kids, etc. And this, by the way, is how your competitors look at your customer. Instead, get to know them on an intimate basis. And that's what this course is about, this free turnkey sales story strategies course. It teaches you these strategies to understand who your customer is. And by the way, when you're developing a promotional strategy, the better you can laser or pinpoint that customer, the more effective your promotions are going to be. Instead of just throwing money at a promotion because a retailer says so, now we're targeting that specific customer that buys our product, that customer wants to sell to. So the second thing is purpose. We all need to have a purpose. So what is trade marketing? Trade marketing, as I said, is everything that's required to get your product into the hands of a shopper. It's that simple. Do not rely on what I would call a push-button solution. There are a lot of those out there. And as I've highlighted in some of these webinars, and I'll get to that even more, a lot of those tools are, I like them to be QuickBooks. They're great because they can help you with managing your trade spend, but they're only as good as the data you put in, one, and there are a lot of issues around that. And then two, they're only as good as the person who operates it. So I studied to become a CPA in college, and I've got QuickBooks, and that by no means makes me a CPA, okay, or would make anyone else a CPA. My point is this. There are a lot of things that I don't use in that software because I don't need them or because I haven't taken the time to learn them. And that's one of the biggest drawbacks in a lot of these different products. And so when you're thinking about some of these trade marketing programs, think of QuickBooks, but for your trade marketing. It's sort of like a big checkbook. You could put all your checks in it and it'll balance your checks, etc. But it's really not going to give you the insights, the deep level insights that you need. The insights, like I said before, that I was being able to explore back when I worked for Kimberly-Clark and Unilever. And by the way, one of the biggest ones I had in this industry is I was able to get a large retailer to reduce their menu fees. In other words, what they charged us to promote their products, by being able to go to that retailer and help them understand that it costs more to promote in their stores than it did other stores. And that by making some tweaks and some changes to their go-to-market strategy, the way they work with us, we were able to help them also boost sales. So we paid them less money. We gave them higher profits in return. As a win-win for everybody. So you need to start with a purpose. So begin with the goal in mind. And one of the things that I talk about, and again, this is something that no one else deals with or focuses on, is start with the market basket and work backwards. In other words, when I go into your store to buy something, I'm going to buy a lot of items, premium items, organic, plant-based, etc. So what are all the items in my market basket when I check out of the store? And then work back and try to incorporate your trade marketing strategy around that. The goal of every promotion is to have it be fair and balanced. Now, a lot of you are probably laughing because obviously this isn't true. Instead, the reality is most promotions are stacked against you, and we want to change that. By giving you these insights, this is how we level that. This is how you be able to go to the retailer and say no. In fact, no is a reasonable answer. So being able to go to the retailer and say, no, I don't want to participate in this. I have a better idea, and here's why. And always back it up with facts. So goal setting. Goal setting requires a commitment. So if you think about, in this analogy here, if you're flying from Hawaii to San Diego, that plane is off course the majority of time. Well, when you set a goal, that doesn't mean that you A and then you start at point A and then go to point B and you just automatically get there. You've got to continually be readjusting. And that's part of what you need to be thinking about when you're setting goals. And the reason that matters is because, again, you want to look at the current trade promotion strategies. And so in this example, let's say the retailer wants me to produce 5 different promotions a year, or participate in them. So the sad thing is that retailers view this as a profit center. So we need to educate them about why this doesn't make sense to them. In other words, if we simply throw money at a promotion and it does nothing to drive sales and it encourages their customer to see them as a discount or something like that, then their customer might become more loyal to the savings than the customer, than the retailer. And so we want to change that conversation. We need to help the retailer understand the impact of the promotion, your promotion, on their category and again the market basket. Notice no sustainable growth in this graph, and this is what you see across most categories. This is why most promotions fail. They do nothing to drive sustainable sales in the category. So you want to highlight the 3 things that all retailers want again. Remember, keep going back to that and addressing that in every conversation that you have with a retailer. So the better solution, instead of 5 promotions a year, we're going to do 3. And we've identified these are the 3 best solutions, and then we can put more resources behind them. And the result is that we can make a bigger impact with that. So the retailer might get a little bit less money, but you know what? They're going to get more sales. They're going to gain a competitive advantage, and that's going to continue. And that's going to help them in their market be more competitive as a retailer, drive more customers to their store, etc. So know your numbers and help guide your retail partners. And we're going to talk about knowing your numbers and what that means in a minute. But your opportunity here is to help guide your retail partners to become the expert and to help them understand why this stuff matters. You want to highlight what you're doing to help them grow sustainable sales growth. And you want to show them the long-term impact. Remember, on basket size, store traffic, the amount of customers in the store, and shopper loyalty. You cannot hit You cannot hit a goal, a target that you don't aim for. You've got to be laser focused in terms of your strategy. So we're talking about your purpose. What is your goal? I want to increase my sales by 3% a year. What does that mean? What do you have to do to achieve that? Bite-sized chunks, right? How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Break that into smaller chunks to try to understand exactly how you're going to accomplish that goal. Remember, retail's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And the race is won with a solid strategy. Cannot say that enough. Your strategy needs to be very robust, and it's got to take into consideration as many things as you possibly can. Obviously, the pandemic was something no one expected. But if you've been planning ahead of time, you'd probably be in a lot better position than some companies. So the importance of a unified plan, I talked about that. Everyone in lockstep. This is how you maximize each and every one of your selling opportunities. You need to learn the key metrics. We talk a lot about that on different webinars and my Trademark Essentials course, etc. So these are things that you need to become expert in. Focus again on the customer journey. When most people think about trade marketing, they think about how do I squeeze a certain margin out of a single item on their shelf. Instead, we want to think about the market basket. We want to think about the overall margin that the retailer is getting. If you think about it, if you go buy a box of diapers at a Walmart, you're paying the exact same price for those diapers that Kimberly-Clark sells them to. At least you were back when I was working for them. They're making up their margin on the other items that you buy. Same as with cement. When I used to work for Home Club, we would sell cement at cost, but it was all the other products people would buy. Use some of these strategies to help really maximize each and every selling opportunity. So start from the end and work backwards. And then what other items do shoppers buy? Cannot emphasize that enough. Get to know your shopper. Back to that course, Free Turnkey Sales Story Strategies course. Get to understand who your core customer is and how can you help support them. And you want to plan well in advance. Don't do this like a lot of companies do where they're reactive. You want to be proactive. And then you want to leverage your plan with the retailers. And we're talking about this more and more and more. But if you can get your retailer on board with what you're doing, first of all, ask them what their objectives are. But secondly, get on board with what you're doing, get them on board with what you're doing so that you guys are working together. And this is how you become a trusted and respected resource instead of just another package on the shelf. This is what retailers really want. So next we're going to talk about creativity. A lot of companies use cookie cutter strategies. In other words, this is what I did last year. This is what I'm going to do next year. And that's not the way to manage your trade marketing. Again, this is the single largest line item on a brand's income statement. And yet people don't give it the time and the diligence that it deserves. So instead, your creativity is the single greatest asset in your arsenal. Shouldn't your go-to-market strategy be every bit as creative as ingredients in your package? Think about that. So you need to plan ahead, as I said. So one of the best ways to plan ahead is you start thinking about your promotional agreements. You need to make sure that everything's in writing, and you need to get this lined out. A lot of people don't do this, and this is one of the biggest failings, one of the biggest black holes for a brand. In other words, this is where the deductions happen because you weren't clear on what was expected by you and by the retailer. And by the way, a promotional agreement is a contract. And so I'm going to talk more about that in the Trade Marketing Essentials course, but make certain that you get what you're promised. So why does this matter? Let's talk about the 5 strategies to dramatically reduce deductions and save money. 1, you need to become an expert in your retailer. We've talked about that. What are their objectives? What are their rules? What are the goals? How do you become a value-added resource? 2, become an expert in the category, the competition, and the retailer's market. This is where you need to know your numbers. This is all part of the trademark. This is all part of the Turnkey Sales Story Strategies course. 3, be prepared. Never assume anything. When I was studying to be a CPA, one of the things you had to take a lot of law classes, and I remember always being taught that you never wanted to ask a question that you didn't already know the answer to. Well, I use that in retail, and that is one of the best strategies I've seen anyone use. The idea behind that is if you know the answer to the question, then that shows the retailer that you already understand their business. So try to become an expert and try to anticipate their wants and their needs. Be specific and clear in your communication. This is where you go back to the contract. And you want to recap and assess the promotion with the retailer, and you want to do this timely. So when you think about what I said a minute ago in terms of the contract, well, that's what you agreed to. Okay, now you want to go back and revisit it. And most brands don't do this. They don't take the time to do it. That's another reason why there's so many deductions that can bankrupt and derail your brand. In fact, at Expo West a year ago, I was talking to one of the brands that I was working with, and they were almost in tears saying that they didn't know if they were going to be in business or for how long, because the distributor that they were working with was deducting money, and they weren't paying on time, and they had no way of knowing when they were going to get the money that they needed, the money that they had earned, and they're trying to make payroll and trying to pay for everything else, and yet that money's held up. I hear these stories all the time. Let's fix that. So you want to tie your trade marketing plan into your sales and marketing. This needs to be a unified effort across the entire sales organization. You want to plan for success. If you have out of stocks on the shelf, the customer is not going to say, well, that's the broker's fault or that's the retailer's fault. The customer sees your name on the package, that's your fault. Make sure that doesn't happen. Help ensure that the retailer has the right amount of product to support your promotion. We'll get to more of that in a minute as we go through this. Retail execution matters. Cannot stress this enough. Your retail execution is one of the most important things you need to focus on. This is where a lot of brands fail. If you can execute it flawlessly at retail, you'll definitely have a significant competitive advantage against all your competitors. So what gets measured gets done. This is a scorecard. Use a scorecard to help manage your promotions, to help manage everything that you're doing within your brand. When you come up with a new product, when do you want to launch, etc. And by the way, I get more into that in the Turnkey Sales Story Strategy, in the Trade Marketing Essentials course. You can include anything you want to measure on a scorecard. Use scorecards to ensure that nothing slips through the cracks. Event scorecards, use the event scorecards to evaluate and improve opportunities. In other words, this is what happened last time we did this promotion. How can we improve upon it? So the next thing, strong brand building strategy. And I mentioned that Michael's on the call. Hi, Michael. Thank you for being here. This is the free mini course I did with Michael J. O'Donnell. This is something that every brand should take. The insights here are phenomenal. And the whole idea behind this is that your brand strategy, your go-to-market strategy should be every bit as solid as it should be every bit as solid so that if I were to take over your brand, if I were to go through your brand strategy, I could run your business on your behalf in your absence flawlessly. And the idea behind that is now all of a sudden we're focusing on where we want to be. We've set a target, we've set an objective. How do we get there? So you definitely want to check out this course. Again, it's free. So, and thank Michael for helping me put this together. He's on the webinar today. And again, you got to roll this up. You roll up your trade marketing in a single unified strategy. This needs to be well thought out. You want to be as proactive as possible. One unified voice. Cannot stress that enough. So next, promotion schedule. You want to have a promotion schedule, and you want to think well out in advance. You want to think several months out. And you need to communicate this to everyone on your sales team, everyone in your organization. And this is how you grow sales, by making sure that everyone's in lockstep. And as I mentioned a minute ago, use scorecards. So how often should you promote, and how aggressively, how deep? Well, it depends on your objectives. And this is where, when you put together your business plan, you start thinking about what do you want, what's important. Remember, everything in this industry is negotiable. And so this is where you start putting together what are your goals, what are your objectives, how do you achieve that? And this is the execution part to help you realize those goals. So go back and take that course. We touch on that a little bit there. But you need to think about what are your objectives in terms of how often or how aggressively you promote. One way to do that is you look at the promotion schedule of your retailer on the gray line toward the top. And you want to overlay your promotions on top of theirs so that you can amplify what they're doing. Now, first of all, they're going to like that, okay? Secondly, as I mentioned, become an expert in your competitor's promotion schedule. Remember, they use the rinse and repeat strategy. And so the reason this matters is I knew that our biggest competitor had a big promotion every once a year, which month they had it, and then I would set our promotions the month prior, and I would do everything I could to try to get every customer to load their pantry so they didn't buy as much of our competitors' items. This is the way the game's played. And so if you can understand the promotional opportunities out there and take advantage of each and every opportunity. Remember, the goal here is to help drive sales in the retailer, and that was a huge win to the retailer because we were selling more profitable items to the retailer where they would have had to give up a lot of profit, a lot of margin during that particular brand's promotion. So next, we're going to talk about efficient trade fund management. So you never hand your keys over to your brand to anyone. And you've probably heard me say this a lot. I'm a firm believer that you need to keep your hand on the rudder of your ship. And the way you do that is by leveraging these strategies. And this, by the way, the people, if you were to go to a company that was going to do your trade marketing for you, a lot of times they might be doing it for your competitor. So you're giving insights possibly to your competitor about what you're doing in terms of your trade spending. So instead, partner with true experts in the category and the brands, etc. This is something that I think you need to own. At the very least, hire someone. Well, first of all, learn this, and then hire someone, put them through these courses, etc., these webinars, and then be able to oversee them. And by the way, don't blindly trust push-button solutions. As I've mentioned, this can lull you into a false sense of security. So you want to maximize your trade marketing ROI. You want to become an expert in all things trade management, and you don't want to farm this out. I keep saying that. I know I keep saying that. You've got to leverage this. Remember, this is the greatest opportunity for you to go and scale. Remember, act like this is your money, because it is. Don't trust it to anyone that's not you or anyone that's not part of your organization. So when I talked about the data, garbage in, garbage out. So do you know where your data comes from? Here's why this matters. If you want to measure the promotion in one retailer, well, the data set that you might need to support that, well, that may not work for another retailer. So there's a lot of different issues you run into. And I've got, the webinar I did about maximizing your promotional ROI. That was all about this. Calendars don't match up in terms of the syndicated data, the data you buy from Spins, Nielsen, and ROI, compared to the retailer's calendars when they promote. There are a lot of issues here, and you need to understand what they are. If you're in Denver, Colorado, and you want to measure your promotion in natural, there's no database on the planet that's going to help you do it. So I've got creative strategies to work around this, but these are things you need to be thinking about. In other words, instead of just buying data for the sake of buying data, well, let's make sure you're getting the right stuff. So one of the things you need to do, as my boss used to always tell me at Kimberly-Clark, is you need to understand why what happened. I promoted this product at this price point. Here's what happened. I grew sales, etc. Now, why this matters, the promotional causals. The causals are the things that cause promotion, cause volume to shift, right? So if I lower the price, then my volume goes up. Understand what those metrics are. Understand how that impacts your promotion overall. And the better you understand that, then that's going to help you identify which are the things, which are the events, which are the things you need to put your money in. For example, a TPR, temporary price reduction, might be great on a regular or for an on-shelf promotion, but if you can get on display, you can get a huge lift, a much larger lift. But does that make sense for you? What about the timing? There are a lot of things to consider. Like I said, this is complicated, but I'm here to help you out. I'm here to guide you along this journey, help you understand this. So accuracy matters, as I mentioned. You need to stop wasting money. Know the factors that cause errors. And remember, these little mistakes, they add up. Even the best tools miss things. Mistakes can be costly. I see brands getting derailed or even bankrupt because of some of the mistakes that they make in this area. Let's fix that. Do not farm this out. Again, do not farm this out. Make sure you at least understand how this works and why this matters so that you can oversee the process. It's your money and it's your brand. Don't forget, this is your future. Invest in it. Own this. And make this a priority. More than anything else that you've got going on. I mean, obviously we need to sell our products, right? But more than anything else beyond that, this should be your number one priority. So what is your long-term goal? Remember we talked about a minute ago? What is your long-term goal? And then let's back into that and let's focus on the trade and marketing efficiencies that are going to help you reach that goal. And then always look forward. Always, always, always. The reason this matters is because so many brands are thinking about where they screwed up last week or what didn't happen or worrying about things that are over. Learn from it and let's go forward. Let's focus on how do we improve each and every time we go to market. As I mentioned, you want to focus on the market basket. This is something that literally no one else pays attention to, and I don't understand why. So, highlight the promotion's impact on the market basket. What other items are in the market basket? How does your item drive premium product sales within that retailer? And then what are the items they buy with it? Focus on the market basket size. If I'm an organic shopper, I'm spending more money at the retailer than if I weren't an organic shopper. So understand what's in my market basket and then work backwards. Show the item count growth. When you've got super premium items in the store and you build loyalty in the store, then that's how you help the retailer, remember, convert occasional customer to loyal shopper. Show the item count, and this is one of the metrics that you should be leveraging with your retail partner to show them what you're doing. Show the increased traffic. How many additional people do you have in the store because you're getting them to come back time and time again? And show the loyalty conversion. In other words, how many people are going from an occasional customer to a loyal shopper? Highlight the impact on the market. How many customers are you driving to that store? And then what is the impact of your promotion, not only at the retailer, but in the market? How do you help the retailer win? And then again, focus on the long-term game. Become a trusted, valued resource for your retail partners. And let's change the perspective. Let's focus on the overall market basket rather than squeezing margin out of one single item. So why traffic and market size are more important? I keep talking about this. This is the thing that no one else is paying attention to. This is the greatest opportunity for you to thrive. And so when I talk about market basket, don't just think about things that go together like peanut butter and jelly, mustard and ketchup, etc. Think about creative products that you might be able to develop a relationship with. For example, and I've used this example before, Food Stirs is a brand that sells ingredients, baking kits. And then Once Upon a Farm is a company that sells organic baby food. Well, if I'm a new parent, then my infant children are going to be frustrated because I'm spending all my time on the new baby. But if I were to buy a food, a baking kit, then I could build that memory with the younger kids. And then as a result, that's going to bond my family, etc. So, but if they had a promotion built around that, then the cool thing is I'm not only bridging the gap between a future family or an existing family, etc. But the point is this: if I can leverage that in my go-to-market strategy, I can reduce my trade spending and I can maximize the results because we're introducing your product to two different customers. And then you want to pay on scan. Now, I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this, but if you're not paying on scan, if you can't hold the retailer and if you can't hold the retailer and the distributor accountable for what they're selling, then this is a waste of money. You want to make sure that you're getting your bang for your buck. You want to make sure that they're doing what they say they do. And then, so bonus, how do you measure promotions? This is number 9, so I'm giving you a couple extras, so that's cool. How do you measure promotions? Your pre and post analysis. And you're going to love this. This is the other half of the surprise. So here we go. Okay, so now let's scroll down and look at the promotion analysis tool light. So here you're going to see a lot of the things that you're going to see in a typical promotion sheet. So do your very best to complete this. Put in the name of the event date, how many weeks long the event's going to last, the fixed cost, anything and everything you possibly can. Now, if you don't have access to the data, to actual sales data, then you can go into a store, for example, and ask a store how many cases of product they sell on an average week, a regular week, without the promotion. And then how many cases do they sell on a week where the product is promoted? Now, I acknowledge that that's not a perfect solution, but it'll give you a good feel. It'll help you understand the dynamics about how all this works. So you've got your base units. Your base units are your sales in the absence of a promotion. Your incremental units are the extra units that you sell during those weeks that you promote. Input all of that. In terms of the dollars, simply multiply how many units times the average retail price when it's promoted, or how many units times the retail price, the average everyday price. That's how you get to some of this information. This is something I'm going to go much deeper in my Trade Marketing Essentials course. But just to give you an idea of how this works, to start to get you to think about what are the things that impact your promotions? Where can you save money? Where can you get a bigger bang for your buck? That's what this is all about. Well, after you put in all your calculations and you scroll down a little bit further, you're going to start seeing what those numbers may add up to. In other words, what is the price discount? How many base cases? Again, base cases in the absence of a sale. And I know I didn't show you this before, but if you hover over the question mark, you're going to see exactly what every single item is, what's involved in it, and what's important about it. So, as you're beginning to play with this, pay close attention to how everything can impact your promotion. For example, if you go up here again, and let's say for in-store demo cost, we're going to say they cost $1,000. Or let's say that we're going to pay more to scan the price down. So instead, we're going to spend 10 cents. So then go down and take a look at how that impacts your overall performance. This is what you need to be paying attention to. This is your opportunity to become an expert in your trade promotions. Now, the best part about this is the part I'm most excited about. After you do this and you play around with it for a bit and you really get to be comfortable with it, well, then you can actually email this to yourself. Put in your email address and your name and hit the scenario. Now, I'll tell you, it doesn't show up in your mailbox immediately, but it does come. And once you get this, hang on to it. Then you've got your scenario that you're planning. In other words, what are you forecasting in terms of this promotion? You want to be able to help the retailer understand what their expectations are, how many additional cases they need to have, etc. Now, after the promotion's complete, then go back in and put in the actual numbers. At this point, now you've got another scenario, you print that off, and you can compare the two. And then you can start identifying what are the unique opportunities to drive more sales. This tool is so very, very powerful. And yet this is something that every brand doesn't have access to. Leverage this. Use this as you're beginning to grow and scale your brand. Use this tool so that you can take it into the retailer and say, look, this is what I'm going to do to help drive sales in your store. This is how much incremental profit or how many incremental dollars I need. And by the way, another thing you can do as you start getting a hold of data is once you start providing more insights, better insights to the retailer, savvy retailers might even reward you by giving you access to your actual sales data. In other words, they'll tell you how many units you sell in an average week. And then they'll tell you how many incremental units you sold during the week of the sale. That makes this a lot more accurate. So anyhow, there are a lot of different ways to use this, but use this. do me a favor and help me raise the bar in the industry. Share this with any of the brands that you have a relationship with. If you're in a situation where you're able to co-promote with another brand, and then you've got your scenario and then they've got their scenario, and you put the two together and you take that into the retailer, that's powerful. These are the things that retailers really want. So what do you think? Pretty cool, huh? So, and then after that, you want to look to consistently improve. What are the things that you can do to continue to improve over time? And remember, as you do this, you're going to get better at it. So one of the best ways to do that is go back and view the other webinars, the previous webinars. Take the Trade Marketing Essentials course. Listen to the podcast. There's a tremendous amount of information, great information out there. Again, validated by industry thought leaders. And you want to leverage this with your retail partners. Work with them, work closely with them, and help them understand what you can do to help them drive sales within their goals. Make sure you understand their goals first too, right? And then why this matters? Increased distribution and preferential merchandising. This is where you differentiate your brand from all the other brands on their shelf. Efficient trade spending, maximize promotions, category leadership. Category leaders, any brand willing and able to step up and help their retail partner compete more effectively. Higher sales and profits. And the best part is this is how you convert occasional customers into loyal shoppers. I want to thank all the partners that are helping me, all the different organizations that are helping me make this available to you. And as I mentioned, you definitely want to tune in to the next couple of webinars. They're going to be fantastic. A lot of great insights. So with that said, what keeps you up at night? Let me know and I'll work to solve it, either in the podcast or in the webinar. So let's answer some questions. Okay, so the first question I've got, Janice wants to know, will this replay be available? Yes, I am definitely going to make this replay available because this is so important. Again, if I can help you, I'm going to make this one available. It's not going to be here. I'm not going to have to. I'm going to put this one on my YouTube channel, etc., and actually on my website, so that you can use it, go back in and watch it again, etc. It'll be up after a few hours. But anyhow, yes, I am going to make this available. Okay, and then so John asks, okay, on these strategies, how can I leverage these at retail? Well, remember, going back to the slide we talked about a minute ago, if I think I understand what you're talking about, category management is fact-based selling. So when I say fact-based selling, what fact-based selling means, here's what I'm going to do. Don't just tell them you're going to do it. Show them how you're going to do it. Show them why this matters. And so fact-based selling, I'm going to have a promotion. My lift is going to be, my incremental sales is going to be 150%. That's 50% above normal. And so how many additional cases do I need, etc. And by the way, on that note, I'm going to be developing more robust tools that'll be coming out later. But those tools are not going to be free. So I've been hearing that, Michael says, I've been hearing that retailers are looking more toward promotional dollars in the second half. How do you look at that? Oh, great question. Yeah, I've heard this too. So actually, I heard this on I don't want to tell where I heard it, but anyhow, I've been hearing a lot of distributors and stuff talk about that. So here's the challenge. You've got a brand that's struggling to figure out, how do you survive with COVID? How do you survive in your market? And yet a lot of the retailers, distributors, et cetera, are saying, look, I need your trade dollars because I didn't get them in the first part of the year. So I need them now. This is how you push back. Remember, no is an answer. So instead of just, the current strategy where sit down, shut up, get out your checkbook, I'm being a little facetious, but that's kind of the way it is today. Instead of that, fact-based selling. If you walk into the retailer, remember the slide earlier where I said the better way and you get to see the graphs going up? Show the retailer that instead of just throwing money at promotions, you're going to identify the best promotional vehicle. And don't forget, this isn't about you. This is about the retailer. So why does it matter? If I can put more money into fewer events and I can do more to drive traffic to their store to help them gain a significant competitive advantage in their market, that's the win-win. And if you could help the retailer understand that, not only does that help the retailer appreciate why you're more than just why you're a value-added resource, but that helps the retailer appreciate what you're saying. It gives them an opportunity to make it easy for them to say yes to to what you're trying to do. Michael, I hope that helps. Great question. Any other questions you want me to answer? Okay. Tom is asking about when is the Trade Marketing Essentials course going to be available. I am hoping to launch it next week. If you're interested in it, go to my website and click on the link, and you can actually put your name. You can actually hit the button and then put your name on the list, and I'll make sure that you're the first to know about when it's going to be coming available. On that note, I'm looking for a group of beta students. I'm an expert in trade marketing, but I'm not an expert in your brand. And so I'm looking for a bunch of students, a select few bunch of students that want to help me make sure I kick all the tires, make sure everything is right, make sure everything is taken care of. Make sure I've got everything I need in the course. So they're going to get they're going to get a substantial discount on the initial course. And of course, they're going to have access to everything down the road. So next course. Why do brands fail so early? Oh, another good question. Thanks, Michael. Well, the reason brands fail, I know that we've talked about this a lot, so thank you for bringing this up. The current strategy is that we teach you how to raise money, then we teach you how to raise money, then we teach you how to raise more money, then we teach you how to raise more money, and then we tell you to hand your keys to someone else. And the someone else isn't you. And they usually use cookie cutter strategies to grow your brand. One of the key problems that brands run into is that the same strategies, the same canned top line reports, the same canned methodologies that one brand uses to sell motor oil is not going to work for your organic baby food. So that's one. Two, the other reason that a lot of brands fail is because there are people out there that are focused on what's best for them. I hate to say that, but it's true. So if you listen to one of the podcast episodes, there's a brand that worked with a master broker. They got distribution all over the country that the guy could not even support because, you build your brand close to home and not clear across the country. And because he couldn't support it, he didn't have people for boots on the ground, etc. It cost him a lot of money for all the free fill, etc. Now the person who got the sale, the master broker, they made a ton of money off this guy. So it's people like that, unfortunately, that you need to be wary of. And the way that we help protect you against that is going back to that course that Michael and I put together, that Michael contributed on, about your brand strategy. So what is your brand strategy? Let's go from the stores in our backyard. So what's the next most logical retailer to go to? If you can't grow sales in California, why in the heck would you want to go to New York? And I hear stories like this all the time. I hope that answers your question. Any other questions? A great question, by the way. Thank you. Okay, we're just past the top of the hour. So I'll tell you what, if you've got additional questions, please reach out to me. My email address is in the chat, and then of course you can schedule 30 minutes, and my email address is on this slide too. Thank you everyone for being here, and again, stay tuned because this webinar series, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Like I said, we've got a lot of new partners that are helping to promote and support this, and there's going to be a lot more great content coming out. Do me a favor, please share these resources. Please share the podcast and the YouTube channel. Help me raise the bar in this industry. Anyhow, thank you for being here, and reach out to me if you've got any questions, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Same bat station, same bat time, all that stuff. Anyhow, thanks. Bye.